finally, welcome back. Long time no videos. The reason being, videos do take a long time to make, and I have desperately been trying to get the Chronograph Kit finished and ready to go. Very exciting. I've got on very well. In fact, this is the one that I used whilst making the instruction videos. Ooh, exciting timings. As I've mentioned possibly in the past, I hate trying to work out how much to charge for all the stuff I sell. I hate it. So what I do is to analyse everything. So I write down how long in minutes every part of the process takes me and the laser cutter. That gives me a good start, and then I work out how much each component costs. Having just spent 67 quid on some more brass pieces such as them, and lots more of them, and lots of the lovely 50mm M4 screws, which I seem to be getting through at the rate of knots, and some other bits and pieces. So I actually have got enough stuff to make these kits. Then of course there are all the checklists, which I find so useful. In fact, putting them together today, I've realised that I'd forgotten one of the bits to add to the kit. Oh, the little jiglet as I like to call it. So I've just produced these for each part of the seven parts of the kit. I've got a list with the all-important total, so I can double check everything. So here's all that, and I think it looks shiny, doesn't it? But actually it's a photograph. Cunning. A bit annoying actually. So I can get them all laid out for each kit, count them all up, make sure I've got the right number, 17 in this case. I'll tell you the interesting one. Polish, not that one. Fixings. Look at this. 54? Heavens to Betsy. I decided to make 7 simply because I had 7 pendulum movements actually sitting around, so that's good. Coily parts, excellent. Pressure vessels and chains and things. Polish, nothing but the best. Proper beeswax polish and stain. Bags with acrylic tubes and rod in to simulate mercury. Pendulum tops and bottoms. 2 semi-finished heraldic clarion door horns, but that's another story. Gears. Oh, there's just so many exciting parts. There's just, oh, it's a joy. And this is so exciting, personally speaking. Well, the coffee is very exciting, with, as always, the milk shaken up and poured on so it gives it a lovely foamy head, and you can't beat a foamy head. I don't have to clean these engravings this time. It is so exciting because I sit here hunched over a bottle of isopropyl alcohol, cleaning them all off, getting covered in it, and now other people can do it. As I've asked people what they'd like in the whatever kit, and they said make it as complicated as possible and involved. So that's fantastic, especially as if you've watched previous videos, I discovered that you can use white spirit or methylated spirits to clean the soot off. So that's great. That will be a joy. And finally, some lovely pieces of purple ribbon to make the battery removal, and some pieces of aluminium foil tape to simulate the mercury. I am now all ready, very excitingly, to start putting the 7 kits together. I think, just to clear the decks, because I haven't got a square inch or centimetre free here, I'm going to put the kit parts, the copper kit parts in fact, together, which are 2 of the rods. This is for the pendulum, so in fact it's for the outer piece here, and which I've taken off because I've scratched the paint, the coiled copper pipe, which is actually solid copper. Very nice because it's malleable, and it means that I don't have to spend ages fiddling around adjusting them at right angles. I get them roughly right, but then the person constructing the kit can bend them really easily without needing pliers or anything, so that's good. And during the meanwhile, while I'm doing that, I'm watching The Joker with Joaquin Phoenix in, which is very, very good, dark, creepy film. I mean, they say that acting laughter is a very difficult thing to achieve. Practically, that's all he does. Really insane sort of laughter throughout the film, or a lot of it. Very, very good, very enjoyable. I think I need to work out a better way of keeping these numbers separate. Perhaps I need to engrave them in groups or something. Anyway, it didn't take that long to sort out. 7 lots of 12, and each kit is going to have the hour and the minute pointer, the minute dial, a lovely little red gem, piece of lovely purple ribbon, and that's it. And they're all properly engraved laser engraving acrylic. So they're quite thick, and the laser has cut out the outsides obviously and engraved all the rest of it, cutting through the thin white layer that's on the surface of the laminate so that you can see the black plastic underneath. So very, very high quality, even though I say so myself. Right, let's get these into 7 bags. Now time for kit's parts. Wood. All the wooden bits that you require to build the beautiful wooden plaque on which the chronograph sits. Smooth, waxy, lovely. So there's the first bit, which are these bits. Now some may say, why on earth bother to change each one and put a different number on? Well, it seemed like a good idea at the time, and now I can't stop myself. So these ones go from whatever it is up to number 29. So if you buy one of these kits, or indeed a ready-made chronograph, this number there'll be one of them. Never copy them. So the next one I cut out will be 30, whenever that is. So there's those bits, and I was very pleased, you know, with kits. I think, well, how on earth could I spray one of these pressure cylinders? And I thought, oh, I know, could include a little piece of dowel, 4mm dowel with a sharpened end, that you can sit that on when you paint it. Equally, with the new super improved pressure cylinder top, 3D printed, you can push it in there and paint that without getting your hands covered in it. And equally, I realised then that I could put all the little black spaces on here and paint them all up together. So that worked out really nicely. It's one of those things you think, well, you know, I can't just send people one of these and say, okay, you need to paint that with copper paint or something. It just seems a bit of a shame not to include a way of doing it. So yeah, that was very satisfying. One of the really satisfying things about producing kits, I think it harks back to when I was a design technology teacher. I used to love producing schemes of work and developing them each year to make them really as challenging. The idea was always to make them really challenging so that students would start off on a project thinking there's no way I can do this, but then to have all the support material, all the examples and everything else, right down to interactive videos I made with a big tracker ball on the front bench, so that if students got stuck, they don't come straight to the teacher and ask the same question hundreds of times. They look at examples, get help from each other, and then use the video thing if they're still stuck, just to go to the right chapter. Bit like the instructions for this, funnily enough. I think I'm addressing a need that I can no longer fulfill. Anyway, very enjoyable. So then there's the sides that fit together beautifully with the laser cut sort of jigsaw bits. They're not jigsaw bits because they would take up too much space. Having them like this means that I can get 2 sets of these bases out of 1 sheet of laser ply. Some nice card spacers, metallic card spacers, to help you set up how tight that is, and the metallic tape to simulate the mercury. Oh, and also, of course, not forgetting, not with a Steamhead kit anyway, nice sheet of very good quality 400 gauge wet and dry to help you clean up all the plastic bits and other pieces. And I couldn't help resist putting in some 180 grit normal abrasive paper so you could clean up any other bits you want. Oh, very exciting. I'll get these packaged up. Wooden parts of the kits, the 7 kits finished. There's the, coincidentally, the repainted pressure cylinder where I managed to scratch the paint off, which is quite useful because it helped me to show what to do if that happens in the instructions. And 2 horns for the Clarendor horns where I scratched the paint off. They're useful. So, now dear friends, kit parts polish. We have a very, in fact I'll show you this. This is the very super improved thing. In fact I'll show you what the thing is. I can pick this one up. it's that thing that allows you to hold the pressure cylinder, which scratched it, and adjust this from left to right so you can make sure the gears mesh. And it used to be simpler, obviously, but it was very tricky and fiddly to put together and to align. This just makes everything so much easier. This time, zoink, tap to the holes at M4. So now from the back of the beautiful polished plaque, you put 2 screws through and just tighten them, and you don't have to worry about nuts slipping around or anything else. Same thing with the slot, the hole that holds the rivet that supports this. I used to stick it in and this, and that was such a pain. So now stick on an extra bit of reinforcing acrylic and drill and tap it, and you have a screw, an adjuster screw. So if you want to readjust it, change it, loosen the screw and take it out. The reason I stuck this on the side is simply because, well, that's 10mm thick, 4mm hole, so that leaves 6mm, 3 either side. 3mm of acrylic isn't really enough. It won't be strong enough to allow a screw to be tapped without ruining the thread. So, oh, there's that bit. Very nice, and I look forward to making some new ones of these, ready-made ones, because it's going to be so much more enjoyable. Pressure cylinder. If any of you watched a previous video or something, some youths, I assume, had a bit of a session, a nitrous oxide session outside our house on the street one night. Didn't know it had happened, but in the morning there, I think it was 120 of these canisters. I don't know how many of them were in the car, or perhaps it was a coach, I don't know. 140 though. Heaven only knows how they drifted home afterwards. So this is a good use for them. Little pot of polish, as always, so that you can really get a good finish. This, the example one, I used I think 3 or 4 coats, and it is, if I can actually catch the light without everything falling on the floor, well, it's lovely and shiny, take my word for it. I was going to say lycra, it's not lycra and it's not latex. What is it? It's vinyl. Haha, vinyl gloves. Always worth putting a couple of them in, just because, you know, you've got stain and paint and this and that and glue. It just helps. It's a nice little gesture, one feels. And the pendulum clock movement. So I've come to put this together, and I can't find the vinyl gloves anywhere at all. I have searched everywhere, and then I won't bore you with searching montage. I discovered them sitting there, supporting all sorts of boxes with the new horns on top. So that's good, found them. So we're all ready to go. We've got those bits, there are the little tins of polish. We've got finally the vinyl, that's vinyl gloves, and the clock pendulum movements. I think I'm going to do this one next, the acrylic parts. Right, part E. We've got these, and those, and these, and those, and these. Many of which I have machined already, partly. It's just thinking about, you know, things, specialist tools that people may not, well, probably haven't got a bandsaw and pillar drill at home. So drilled out that hill there, cut a little slot in the back of those ones, used the lovely jig which I've mentioned before to drill out the tops and bottoms of all the pendulum bits to make sure it all fits together nicely. Glued on the back of the hour display dial gear and drilled out the centre of those, so I know they're centred. And as always, I'm using my old trusty Philip Harris scientific timer. What a beautiful thing. They just don't make things like this anymore, hence my love of all things steampunk. I mean, you know, the different types of metal, casting, and then inside a proper working brass clock mechanism. It's just gorgeous. Unfortunately, when I got it, the glass was cracked. I must try and replace it at some point. It's only been about 25 years, so no hurry then. Now, dear friends, come to this part, the fixings part of the kit with 54 parts. Now, not very interesting, but why not share it, as my mother used to say. This time, with lots of little bits, I've got 7 of these very useful ex-Chinese takeaway delivery boxes, trays, and it's much easier because then I can go around the workshop collecting the different bits and then distributing amongst the 7 different containers, which does speed it up and also allows me to check and count them in and out and all the rest of it to prevent errors. It just shows you, doesn't it? I've got the thingy, 3D printed bits, and 3 large and 3 small plywood, laser cut ply spacers, and we're going along and we've got them all, and then suddenly I've run out. For some unknown reason I haven't got another 3 of these. So time to warm up the laser cutter. There aren't any even in the box of exciting offcuts. I just thought I would have put them somewhere, so I must have used them for something. I really don't know. Brilliant. And there we have it. So, got 3 more of the smaller spacers ready to add to our kits. Sometime later, 1, 2, 3, 4, nothing, nothing, nothing. What is going on here? And again, uno. Where's the other one gone? I've dropped out of my hand. Duo. Oh, forgive me. I'm going to try and search on the floor of invisibility. Let's retrace my steps. Step, 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 step. Nothing. Believe you me, I've had a good old search. So, cut out another one. Oh, annoying. And there you have it. Excellent. Look at that. What an exciting collection of fixings and fixtures and bits and bobs. So there are 54 of these in each tray. I'll go ahead and get them packaged up. And the other thing I'm doing today, which I've just finished, the in box sheets, the sort of instruction sheets to go in the boxes of the chronograph kit. There's all these things. And of course, before I could finish this, I had to add a page. The page isn't completed yet, but it's on my website, Chronograph Kit, and add a QR code to that page. So I had to do all the website this morning and upload that. Then I could finish putting this and get the QR code. Now I finished that. So next job, put the boxes together and fill them with the exciting bags of bits. Fabulous. Never a dull moment. The other week, last week, I got an order for a heraldic clarion door horn, but they also wanted a switch, a suitable switch, and some wire. I was going to look into getting one of these wireless doorbell pushes and adapting that part of the circuit so it could run a heraldic clarion door horn, but I just haven't had time. So then they got back to me and said, okay, we'll go with the wire, so it's going to stay being wired, which is much simpler. And this lovely door push that they chose, and they chose this one, and it is lovely. I've never bought one of these before. It's brilliant. It's got a lovely positive action, beautiful what looks to be ceramic button. That's gorgeous, proper cast metal. It looks like a pretty good quality switch in the back. That's fantastic. Might be that I need to start offering the buttons as an addition Right, these are the boxes that I had, 7 centimetres high by something or other. Now, these are all the 7 parts of the kit, 7 bags, and they leave that much space. Or alternatively, I tried sort of spreading them out more and then packing it out with some of this large bubble wrap. Not very efficient, so I thought, why not check on the postage? How much would it cost? 0.7 kilograms. How much would it cost to send this size? And how much would it cost if I cut it down and spent loads and loads of time fiddling about? So I picked one of my customers in America just to see, and as you can see, if I leave the box this size, it's going to be £11.70, and if I make it the smaller size, £8.51. That's such a huge difference. So, well, I need to use these boxes up. They've been sitting around for ages. So, cardboard engineering, here we come. I've got the box adapted, and I've done a little reminder sheet showing what bits need to be in it and how to arrange them. I've also made a aide-memoire to help me remember how to cut down these boxes to get everything to fit, and I'm very pleased. I think they are sufficiently protected, all the bits are. They're not, well, 0.7 kilograms, much smaller than the original, and really well protected. Nothing shakes around inside. I'm very happy with that. So thanks very much for watching. Please remember to click subscribe and on the bell and something else or other, I don't know. I look forward to speaking to you next time. Thanks again.